Today on Public Eye News, 5 individuals have been caught in a UP sting operation focused on combating human trafficking and child prostitution. And later, the city of Tyre in Lebanon is struck by Israeli airstrikes following the evacuation of its residents.
Our very own Reed Hall has a look into our rainy weather forecast around the UP, and later, your Public Eye News Sports Breakdown. I'm Luke Niddle.
And I'm Bradley Seaborg, and this is Public Eye News. The Marquette County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has announced that a joint undercover sting operation targeting human trafficking and child prostitution has resulted in 5 arrested. The operation involved agencies from Marquette, Chocolate Township, Forsyth Township, Negaunee, Ishpeming, and journalist Chris Hansen with the True Blue Network. The 5 arrested are 37-year-old Adam Dwellman from Gwynn, 20-year-old Robert Wheeler from Kalamazoo, 44-year-old Christopher Elk from Wausau, 37-year-old Joseph Ross from Marquette County, and 41-year-old Jeremy Kohler from Iron Mountain. All 5 have been charged with child sexually abusive activity, use of a computer to commit child sexually abusive activity, accosting a child for immoral purposes, and use of a computer to commit accosting of a child for immoral purposes. A forest fire in the northwest corner of the McCormick Wilderness has grown to 225 acres as firefighters work to contain the blaze. The Summit Lake fire was originally spotted by aircraft on October 18th in a remote area of the McCormick Wilderness located roughly 13 miles north of Michigamme. The fire is most active along its southwest side near Evergreen Lake, and it's fueled primarily by wind and heavy ground fuels. Currently, firefighters are working to contain and jam the fire at geographic features like rocky locations and lakes, and in the sky, air tankers will be dropping water along boundary lines to help establish a perimeter. The weather forecast in the next few days doesn't call for substantial rainfall in the area, and wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour will provide challenging conditions for the crews. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
The Michigan Gun Violence Prevention Task Force held its first meeting this week, discussing issues outlined in the 2024-4 Executive Order. The group will focus on identifying root causes of gun violence and compile and report relevant data. The task force was created by Governor Gretchen Whitmer in June of 2024 to continue ongoing efforts to reduce gun-related injuries and deaths in the state of Michigan. The governor has also signed into law numerous restrictions on firearms, including universal background checks for all firearms and banning anyone convicted of domestic violence from buying, owning, or transporting firearms for 8 years after sentencing. Since Governor Whitmer assumed office in 2019, mortalities related to firearms in Michigan have risen from 1,220 in 2019 to 1,504 in 2022, a 19% increase. And Negaunee Public Schools closed today due to a threat made on Snapchat from a 15-year-old living in Negaunee. Negaunee Public Schools Superintendent Dan Skewitz received a call at 6:35 this morning from the Negaunee Police Department and the FBI with this information. By 7:06 a.m., it was made clear that though the child lives in Negaunee, they pose no threat to the school system. The individual has been identified and interviewed by police and was determined not to be a threat to the surrounding school districts. Marquette, Nice, and Ishpeming school districts released statements on the matter, but proceeded with the school day as normal. All after-school activities for Negaunee Public Schools will still take place as scheduled. And a Minnesota mother is on the mission to protect children with autism. WCCO reporter David Schumann has more on how she's using her experience to help others. Take a look.
What you gonna play?
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay, let's hear it.
For most of Daniel's life, he's tried to escape this house at every possible chance.
Good job.
A very common impulse for kids with autism, like him.
It is exhausting. It is exhausting mentally. It is draining physically, where you are constantly having to be one step ahead of your child.
Daniel's mother, Shaletta Brundage, tells us there have been some heart-stoppingly close calls, like once when he got out of her parents' home in Texas.
He is running full speed, flapping his hands and just having a good old time, headed to a 4-lane highway where cars are going 50 to 60 miles an hour in Houston, Texas. And thankfully, I was able to catch him before he got there because he wouldn't have stopped.
Then a few years ago, what Shaletta calls the game changer. Key-coded door locks for inside the house, keeping Daniel in, that cost about $30.
We've turned the house into Fort Knox.
Shaletta now holds giveaways to get these locks to all families with autism. It started when a missing 4-year-old boy in Hopkins drowned this summer. This weekend, an 11-year-old escaped his home in Eden Prairie and also drowned. She's handed out nearly 600 of the locks. No charge, no questions asked, and another giveaway is in the works.
And it takes the anxiety and the fear and the worry away that my child may try to escape from the house.
David Schumann.
And these are not just locks, these are lives saved.
WCCO News.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break.
On Nova Solar System.
These ice worlds are so unexpected and surprising.
Deep in the planet of Uranus, you get this extremely dense, hot ice.
It's like something out of science fiction.
How do these icy worlds even form? How did the ice get there? Is there life there?
Icy Worlds on Nova.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. I'm Reed Hall, here to take you through our Public Eye weather update. Taking a look behind me here in the Academic Mall, seems as though the clouds have moved out of the area as well as the rain. It's been taken over by some sun. Taking a look around the UP, pretty cloudy all around the UP still today. Starting in Houghton, it's 46. Ironwood is also 46 degrees. Down in Iron Mountain, it is 48. Menominee is our warmest at 52. A little bit of rain down there still. And if we take a look towards the east side of the UP in Escanaba, it is 50. Manistee is 49. Up in the Sioux, it's 48. And back here in lovely Marquette, it is 45 and partly cloudy. Taking a closer look at our conditions, winds are northwest at 15 miles per hour. And our pressure is 30.09 inches and rising. Taking a closer look into tonight, where it looks like the skies will clear up a bit. We'll have a low of 37. Winds will be southwest at 9 miles an hour. And our moon phase is a waning gibbous. Taking a look into tomorrow, it looks like we're going to have some partly cloudy conditions. A high of 64, a low of 46, and winds southwest at 15 miles per hour. And taking a look into the weekend, on Friday, high of 55, mostly cloudy, low of 39. On Saturday, it looks like we're going to get some sun, the high of 51 and a low of 40. And then on Sunday, the warmest of the weekend, high of 57, mostly cloudy, and a low of 43. That's all the weather I have for the day. Back to the news desk.
Thanks for that weather update, Reed. It looks like the warmer weather is sticking around for a little while longer, so make sure you get out and enjoy it. Now for our national news. Hezbollah has confirmed that Hashem Safadine has been killed in an Israeli airstrike. Safadine was expected to become the group's next leader after Hassan Nasrallah, was one of the group's founders, was killed in an airstrike last month. In the past several weeks, much of Hezbollah's top leadership has been killed by airstrikes as Israel continues their assault on Lebanon. The coastal city of Tyre is home to multiple UNESCO World Heritage Sites and has largely been spared so far in the Israel-Hezbollah war. But recently, attacks in and around the city have intensified. The strikes today were between several heritage sites, including Phoenician ruins and a Roman hippodrome. Mass evacuations of the city have taken place, with an estimated 15,000 people remaining from its 100,000 pre-war population. And an E. coli food poisoning outbreak that has sickened at least 49 people in 10 states, including one death, has been linked back to McDonald's Quarter Pounder hamburgers. The infections were reported between September 27th and October 11th in multiple states, with 26 of the infections being reported in Colorado. All of the interviewees in connection with the outbreak reported eating McDonald's before falling ill, with most stating that they had eaten the Quarter Pounder. The FDA has yet to identify a specific ingredient in the case, but investigators are focused on the onions and beef. McDonald's officials suggest that some illnesses are linked to onions from a single supplier and have halted distribution of onions and removed the Quarter Pounder from the menu in affected states. And with Election Day less than 2 weeks away, a new survey shows Americans are stressed about the future of our nation. CBS News reporter Dana Demetrius has more on how to manage.
Andrew Payton says he's stressed.
It doesn't help to have your phone buzzing with like headlines and stuff. So there's always like kind of like a background radiation of stress happening.
It's something many Americans are feeling as Election Day approaches.
I do believe a lot of it, for my own personal stress, does trickle down from the political landscape of the last several years.
According to the American Psychological Association, more than 7 in 10 adults say the future of the nation is a significant stressor, with the economy and the 2024 presidential election right behind.
Over 70% of people are concerned about election violence or violence coming out of the election, and over half saying that they are concerned that this election could mean the end of democracy. And what's striking about that is that both Democrats and Republicans are not that different on those two issues.
Dr. Arthur Evans says despite the stress, more than 60% of adults are feeling hopeful about the change this election will bring. Health experts say it's important to find ways to cope with stress, and that starts with eating right, exercising, and getting enough sleep.
For election-related stress, being engaged in the political process is an important way to manage our stress. Limiting the amount of information that you're taking in, particularly when you're tired, is also another very important coping strategy.
Steve Pineda is already taking that advice.
I don't really follow the media much. I don't have much of social media. In fact, I have no social media. Faith is the number one thing, what keeps me central.
Finding balance between being informed and not overwhelmed. Dina Demetrius, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And wait right there. After this short break, Reed's going to have a sports breakdown you won't want to miss.
The search for the final resting place of members of the 5th United States Colored Cavalry.
There was never any effort to identify what happened to those men because they were colored troops.
In this one spot, there was a cross, and it said Civil War Burial Mound.
They weren't citizens, but they were willing to fight for this country.
The Civil War's Lost Massacre on Secrets of the Dead.
Tonight at 10.
Welcome back. I'm here this time to take you through our sports breakdown. Starting things off on the ice, where the Red Wings are back to 500 after a 1-0 win over the New York Islanders last night. Patrick Kane found the back of the net for the only score in this one, his first of the season and 472nd of his career. Kane was assisted by JT Compher and off-season addition Vladimir Tarasenko. The Wings, who look to be in search of their offensive identity, only mustered 10 shots on goal, while goalie Alex Lyon blocked 29 shots sent his way. The Islanders dropped to 2-2 and have now been shut out in 3 of their first 6 games. The Wings will be back in action tomorrow night as they play host to the New Jersey Devils. And over on the hardwood, where the Detroit Pistons are set to tip off their season against the Indiana Pacers at 7 p.m. The Pistons will look for more success this season after coming off an NBA worst 14-68 record a season ago that included an NBA record 28-game losing streak. The Pistons will lean on new head coach J.B. Bickerstaff, as well as the additions of Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and rookie Ron Holland to hopefully right the ship in Detroit. The Pacers, on the other hand, will look to continue their surprising success from last season after winning 47 regular season games and making a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pistons will be without rookie Bobby Klintman and second-year man Oscar Thompson tonight, who are both listed day-to-day. And back here on campus for a look into a busy back end to the week for NMU athletics. On Friday, women's soccer plays host to Roosevelt at 3, while swim and dive kicks off their meet against Saginaw Valley and Grand Valley at 6. Then, hockey closes out a busy Friday, hosting Arizona State at 7:07. On Saturday, swim and dive action resumes at 11 a.m. before women's wrestling takes over the action for their green and gold meet at 1 o'clock. Hockey once again finishes the day taking on Arizona State at 6:07. Then, on Sunday, women's soccer wraps up the weekend action, playing host to Purdue Northwest at noon for Senior Day. And away from campus, cross-country runs the GLIAC Championships, while football heads to Houghton to take on the Huskies. That's all the sports I have for the day. Back to the news desk.
Thank you for that sports update, Reed. Brad, how are you feeling about the Pistons?
Well, I'm certainly hopeful it'll be better than last year. You know, we've got a lot of new talent in, new coach, new guys running the show. So I think they're going to be much better than last year. I'll say they even win 30 games.
30 games, wow.
30 games. I'm very confident in that.
Hopefully they can take a page out of some of the other Detroit sports, starting stepping it up a little bit.
Yes, it's been a good time to be a Detroit sports fan recently, that's for sure. The Lions doing great. Tigers had that awesome postseason run. Wings are a little slow start, but I think they're going to have a great year. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today on Public Eye News. I'm Bradley Seaborg.
And I'm Luke Niddle.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.